Bam! Ooh, I look dark. Hey everybody, Ash here with Gents. Today I've got a haul video for you. I've gotten in a ton of designer fragrances. I'm gonna keep it pretty short on each one of these fragrances. I'm not gonna be doing mini reviews. I'm just kind of showing you some of the things that I've gotten in. And if you wanna see videos on any of these fragrances in particular, like reviews, standalone reviews, let me know and I'll add it to the list. Let's see how many we've got today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fragrances. It's a lot to cover. Let's go ahead and do this. A couple of these I haven't even opened yet because they just recently came in. All right, first fragrance in this haul. This one and the next two come courtesy to me from Timmy at Imagine Scent. So shout outs to him, thank you for hooking me up with these. Because a couple of them are pretty hard to get, especially for me where I have to do all my shopping online. First one is this guy, Prada Homme Absolu. You can tell it's Absolu because of that design. Now this one I just reviewed, I just filmed a review on it. And that review is going to be out before this video, so you guys already knew that. But in case you haven't watched that review, watch that review and give me a like. Thanks, I appreciate that. This one, in my opinion, not as nice as the original Prada Homme, not as nice as the original Prada Homme Intense, and more expensive than both of those. If you're looking for a spring or summer Prada Homme, go with Prada Homme or Prada Homme Low. If you're looking for a fall and winter Prada Homme, go with Prada Homme Intense. This one falls in line a little bit more with Prada Homme Intense in terms of when you would wear it. It's more of a winter and fall centric type fragrance. But in my opinion, not as nice as Prada Homme Intense. The opening smells great in Prada Homme Absolu. It's my favorite part, but that's only 10 or 15 minutes. And then the dry down, doesn't smell as nice as all the others in the Prada Homme line. This one is a little spicier than all the other Prada Homme fragrances. It's got a lot of cardamom in it, this one does. And then it's got some amber, a little bit of a resinous feel as it dries down. Through the mid to the dry down, it gets more powdery. It doesn't smell bad, it's not a bad fragrance, just not amazing. And for the price, in my opinion, worst one in the line. Anyway, if you want more information on this, just watch my review. On to the next one. So this also, again, from Timmy at Imagine Scent. It is Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. Ooh. Now this one you can actually find online fairly easily. It's still pretty expensive though. So this is one I'm gonna review pretty soon. I'll do a standalone on this guy. I reviewed the original Eau de Toilette back last year, and while that one didn't blow me away, I did think it was a nice smelling, clean, safe fragrance. And it's a compliment getter too. One of my most complimented over the last year in actuality. Easy fragrance to wear to the office, easy fragrance to wear casually, especially in warm weather. The Eau de Toilette though did catch a lot of hate in the community. A lot of people said it was generic or that it was crappy or whatever. The Eau de Parfum has been received a little bit better. People like it a little bit more, seems like. I've only worn it once so far, but it does have a richer, deeper feel. And I've got to tell you guys, just off that initial wearing, I did like it. So I'll do a full review on this one in the future. You can watch that if you want more information on what my overall thoughts are. And the last one from Timmy, but for real, if you want to keep sending me stuff, go for it. If any of you guys want to send me stuff, go for it. Thanks, that means so much. Seriously, thank you guys. This one is from Issey Miyake. Caught a lot of hype in the fragrance community on Facebook for a little bit there, for about a week. It's this one, Lolita pour Homme Noir Ambre. And a funny story about this one, I actually had an opportunity to pick this up at my local TJ Maxx and I was an idiot and didn't do it. I saw it there at my local TJ Maxx, and the thing is those fragrances usually just sit there forever. I'm not really in a place where people seek out, those more expensive designers at TJ Maxx and Ross's. So if there's something there that's $50-ish, chances are it's gonna be there for about 6 months. Trust me, they still have Terry Mugler fragrances that were there about a year ago. So I saw it at my local TJ Maxx and I was in a rush and didn't pick it up because there was a hell of a line. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have been to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross's, or if you're in the UK, TK Maxx. There are times where that line just snakes all the way around and it takes like 15 minutes to get through. I wasn't gonna do it that day and I said I'll just come back and pick that up when it's not as busy. Came back the next day and it was gone. Of freaking course it was. But Timmy had a bottle and he sent it to me. So this is one I probably will review, though I know that the hype has died down a little bit on this one. Gotta tell you, initial impressions, smells really freaking good. Better than I would have expected. Anyway, psyched to get this one. Issey Miyake Noir Ambre. And let that be a lesson to you guys. If you see something at one of those discount stores that's maybe a little bit rare or something that you've been looking for, even if there's a hella long line, Just buy it. Wow, I just spit a ton. Because you're probably gonna end up like me. You're gonna think no one will ever pick that up because only real fragrance people know about that fragrance and it's kind of expensive. And then the one person in your city other than yourself that would buy it is gonna show up and pick it up before you come back, just to spite you. Next up, I have 5 fragrances from Alexandria Fragrances. I have been asked for quite some time to do a video on Alexandria, and that's coming very soon. Now, these were sent to me for review, but like always, if I do not like them, I will tell you that I do not like them. And also, to be completely fair here and completely honest, if Dua Fragrances wanted to send me some fragrances for review, I would review them, just as long as they were sent with the understanding that if I think they're not good, I'm going to say, I think they're not good. That being said, I haven't been approached by Dua to do any reviews like that, so. But if they're open to it, I'm open to it. So, Alexandria Fragrances, these are the ones that I've got. I have California Winter 2018. You can't see that here, let me help you. I have Hafez 1984. I have Interplay X Straight. I have Agar. And last but not least, African Magic. So those 5 I'm going to be going over in a video very soon. African Magic is Alexandria Fragrance's take on African Leather by Memo. Agar is Alexandria Fragrance's take on Tom Ford Oud Wood. Interplay X Straight is their take on Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum. And then Hafez 1984 and California Winter 2018. These are both supposed to be original creations. Typically, an original creation from Alexandria and Dua is taking a certain percentage of other fragrances and blending them together to make a new fragrance. Just as an example, a very dumbed down example would be saying you have an original creation and then it's 50% Tuscan leather, 50% Tobacco Vanille put together. That's an overly simplified version, but you kind of get the idea at that point. So I'm not going to go into much detail here, just because I'm going to review these and talk about them in the near future. And I believe there's also going to be a coupon code associated with that video, and I will probably give a couple of those away as well. Spread the love a little bit. All right, next up is a fragrance that I have not even unboxed. It's one that came in very, very recently. It's Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Extreme. The original First Instinct is actually a really good cheapie. It's one that you can wear in spring and summer. It's a compliment getter, easy to wear, maybe for younger guys, but definitely solid. This one I haven't smelled yet, obviously, because it's not open. But they had some really good deals on FragranceNet on that fragrance, and I decided to pick it up. It was between that one and First Instinct Blue, and from what I read, that one is the better fragrance. That may show up in a future video. If it's good enough to be included, I'll include it in like a cheapies video. We'll have to see if it's good enough to be reviewed on its own. Well, if it's crappy enough, or good enough, I should say. If it's mediocre, probably not going to feature it. And then another cheapie that I have not opened, it's one that I've heard good things about, that's why I got it. Guess 1981 Indigo. Guess is a clothing company best known for making some, you know, mid-range jeans. Like I said, this is a cheapie. That's why I picked it up. It has coconut, fig, and iris as some of the notes. And that was kind of interesting to me. Those are notes that don't really get used together all that often, and coconut and fig could be a good combo. Haven't seen anybody say anything really negative about this one, so it's one that I'm interested to try out and see if it makes the grade. Another one that you may see popping up in the near future. Who knows? Next up is a new Bvlgari. It is Bvlgari Man Wood Essence. Now, this was actually sent to me by a subscriber, believe it or not. They noticed that I hadn't done any reviews on it or talked about it, and that's because I didn't own it. They didn't want to be mentioned by name or anything like that. They just said that they wanted to send it to me. So if you're watching, I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot. And I'll do a review on this one, because it was sent to me, I feel like I owe at least that much. So I'll try to get a review on this one out before too long. It's got notes of cypress, cedar, and benzoin, a little bit of citrus. It does seem a little bit divisive. Some people say that they really, really like this. I've talked to some people that say this is actually one of their absolute favorite designer releases of the entire last year. And then other people think it's just really generic and crappy and kind of a throwaway fragrance. Now, I have not given this proper wearings. I can't tell you really my thoughts on it yet. I basically just smelled this off of a tester strip in a store and then again when it came in. So I'm not going to ruin anything as far as whether I think it's good or bad or somewhere in between. I'll save that for the review. Next up, Boss the Scent. Hugo Boss the Scent. Private Accord. For those of you out there that watched my reaction video where I watched Steven, Carlos, and Max and made a fool of myself basically, I really wanted this fragrance when I was watching that video. I like Hugo Boss the scent. I like Hugo Boss the scent Intense. I do not care if you judge me for that. I think they're nice. The Meninka fruit gives it kind of a unique feel that no other fragrance has. And this one adds coffee notes, which is a note that I really like. And as well, there's a good amount of cacao. Actually, if you smell from the atomizer, that cacao or chocolate, you pick up a ton of that. This is another release that I may do a standalone review on. I mean, there's a lot of those in this haul. You know, a lot of fragrances that I may give their own videos. So honestly, if you guys maybe could help me out in the comments and let me know which of these you want to see the most first, it'll kind of help me get these situated. Because right now there's a ton of them and I don't really know where to start. But yeah, some of you asked me on my Facebook group and in the comments whether I had actually ordered a bottle of this while I was watching Steven and Carlos's video, because I was talking for a while about how I was jealous and how I wanted it. This is your answer. I did order it. Next up is a cheapie from the House of Aramis. It is Modern Leather. And I gotta tell you guys, this has got to be one of the absolute cheapest presentations that I've seen in a very long time. Nothing against Aramis, I'm just saying expense was spared. Which is fine. I mean, Aramis is what it is, right? I think Aramis appeals mainly to you older school guys out there at this point. You can see the bottle here is just very plain and square. And then you just have a sticker right there, Aramis, Modern Leather. Essentially, the presentation here is on par with like Alexandria fragrances or Dua, maybe even worse. The cap is just a very, very lightweight, thin plastic. And then it has this absolutely old school dinosaur style atomizer. Check that out. It's got the thick tube down there and everything. And when I say old school style atomizer, I mean this reminds me a lot of like the original Polo Green by Ralph Lauren. It even feels the same when you spray it. Hopefully this comes across on camera decently. It's not that it's a terrible atomizer. I just breathed it in. It's that it does that kind of puff of fragrance like the old Ralph Lauren's do, which kind of makes sense because this is old school throwback-ish. Now, this fragrance is a leather fragrance, obviously with the name, but the first thing that I get from this is a big blast of herbs. It's got a very herbal feel off the top. And I'm thinking, if I recall correctly, it's basil and thyme off the top. And that's pretty much 85% of what I get initially. Doesn't turn into a leather fragrance until a little bit later on, and for some people it never really does. It just stays very herbal. Very inexpensive fragrance though, especially for being a newer one, and that's why I picked it up. I do like leather fragrances, so figured I'd give it a try. Don't know if it'll be featured in the future, maybe on a cheapie list if I give it some wearings and it actually comes across really nice. We'll have to see. You know how people always do like this for a thumbnail? Right? But then they never actually spray it? That's why people don't spray it. Figured I had to do it, you know. I'll use that for the thumbnail. It's a weird taste. Very strange. We're in the home stretch. I did have to close my eyes. I didn't feel like blasting fragrance into my eyes with contacts in. Figured it's probably a bad idea. Tastes worse than it smells. All right, next up, a discontinued Dior Fahrenheit. It's the one that I talked about in my wish list. I made the wish come true. Dior Fahrenheit Summer. It's going up from the back of my mouth into my nose, so it's like I'm smelling the fragrance from the inside. I don't suggest you do that. So yeah, I talked about this on my wish list. Discontinued Dior Fahrenheit. They tried to make it a thing, you know, Fahrenheit Summer. They had Fahrenheit Summer, which is this one. They had Fahrenheit Summer 2006, Fahrenheit Summer 2007, Fahrenheit 0 degree. Now I don't have Fahrenheit 0 degree or 2006 or 2007. I don't know if I care enough to pick all those up because they're fairly expensive, over $100 each. This is pretty much what I said it was in the wish list, turns out. It's basically a toned down Fahrenheit with some added citruses, and it's something that you could wear in the summer. Maybe not as fresh as some guys would like, but if you really liked your Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette, but you wish, you know, it was toned down a little bit and freshened up, that way you could wear it in higher heat. That's what that is. What a surprise. Really, really glad that I have it though. Fahrenheit is a line that I really, really, really like, and super psyched to have this. Only 2 left. Next up, this one, Lolita Lempicka Homme. This came out last year, and you can already pick this up for a good price at discounters. Now online, some people have said that this is basically just Lolita Lempicka Eau Masculine, only rebottled. I do have that fragrance, and I've smelled this one and that one side by side, and I don't think they're the same. This one definitely comes across more modernized to me, less harsh. If you like licorice and men's fragrances, this is gonna be one of your best bets for that. I've thought about reviewing that. The issue is I feel like nobody cares about Lolita Lempicka, and nobody would care if I did a video on it. I got this one pretty much for myself, but if any of you guys are interested, I will do a video. And who knows, it may make a top 10 list at some point after I give it some more wearings, figure out how much I like it, what it does well, what it does bad, etc., etc. But yeah, Lempicka Homme. And the bottle's kinda cool too. I like it. All right, last one for this video, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal L'Intense, or L'Intense, however you want to say it. Another fragrance from a line that I really like. I featured Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne, the Eau de Toilette, and the Eau de Parfum at different times on my channel in different videos. This one has the almond note that this line is really famous for, along with tonka and leather, but it also has chili peppers and a smoke note, smoke accord. So you know I had to get it. Now I have not given this a full proper wearing yet, so I can't go into too much detail for you. Is it good enough that it's going to replace the Eau de Parfum? I'm not sure. Is it good enough that I'm really glad that I own it? Yeah, it is. More information on this one coming soon, probably. All right guys, that's gonna do it for me. This was a pretty big haul, so I didn't want to spend too much time on each one of these. I do have more fragrances coming in the mail, believe it or not. I'm really trying to get some of the newer things and maybe some lesser known things so I can do some new videos for you guys. Again, let me know which of these you would rather see next. That way I can kind of know which one you want to see so I can arrange them properly. All right guys, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys again next time.